Welcome everybody. We're going to go through the budget project and introduce it today. So it's in the spreadsheets folder. We did our spreadsheet data already. Now we're going to do the budget project. The directions are here. I've already opened them up right here. And essentially what we're doing in this project is trying to play adult. How to be an adult, make money, and budget our money so that we make sure we have enough. And we're going to use spreadsheets to help us with this. So I, in the video here, am going to go through scenario 1. And the video walks you through everything you need to do for the first scenario. And then essentially every scenario you go through, you're getting a pay raise. So in the first scenario, we have a job that pays $15 an hour, which is pretty typical of a job you might get working an hourly rate in high school or shortly after high school. And then here now you make $20 an hour, then 25. There's some other differences in here as well, like when you are not making as much money, your taxes right here are lower. And if you compare these percentages here, like 5% federal tax, 3% state tax, to the next category up, this is the way taxes work. When you make more money, you pay more in taxes. So 7% federal income and 4% state versus 5 and 3. Anyway, that's kind of getting into the weeds. By the bottom, you get to get your dream job and kind of decide how much you want to make per year, and you get to have a little fun with it. Okay. And then on the bottom is how you get graded. And I'll refer to this in class with you. All right. The spreadsheet that you'll start with is here. Open this up, and then you're going to make a copy. I've got mine right here. I'll make a copy. I'll name it, get rid of copy, I'll say Flags budget spreadsheet. Make a copy. And then once you've done that, you'll have editing rights. Okay, so what have we got here? So the columns are those scenarios. So first you see $15 an hour, then 20, then 25, then 40, and then your dream, I should say not dream house, it should be your dream job, okay? And this top section is, we're going to figure out how much money you're actually going to make every year. That's what this column will show us, and in the green down here, it will be how much money are you going to make and be able to keep or take home at the end of the year. Then the budget part of it comes down here, your annual expenses, how much money you'll be spending, and the video example goes through this right now, all the way down to the bottom. The bottom line is going to be a number right here. I should highlight this. Let's make it bright green. Yeah. This is how much money you have left over at the end of the year. And if you have leftover money, good work. If you don't have leftover money, you need to decide what you're going to cut out of your budget. So let's go up to the income, the fun part. So let's say here you are working full-time. Full-time is 8 hours a day for 5 days a week. So in the spreadsheet, I'm not going to take out a calculator. I'm going to have the spreadsheet do it. My daily pay would be 8 times 15. So in this cell, you just type equals 8 times, sorry, you're going to use the the multiplying button above the 8, 8 times 15. That little star, this star is right above the 8 key. So every day I make 120 bucks. Then every week, I'll take my daily pay, which is 120. So I'm going to say equals I'm not even going to type 120. I'm going to click on the cell. I want to take this cell times 5. So it's going to take the $120 in this cell, multiply it by 5. So every week I'm making $600. Then what about every year? There are 52 weeks in a year. So I'm going to say equals the 600 cell. I'm not going to actually type it. I'm just going to type, boom, C5, that cell, times 52. There you go, $31,200, not bad. Let me go back to the directions real quick. I'm looking at this overtime here. These scenarios tell you if you get overtime. This says, it says you work $15 an hour. You can get there by the bus. You must work 52 hours a year. There's no overtime. Once you get a raise, it says here, oh, they will pay you overtime. Guaranteed 5 hours of overtime. But on scenario 1, I don't get overtime. So it's rather simple. Oops, let's go back to this one. So I don't get any overtime. I'm just going to put 0. Okay, so the number of overtime hours each week is 0. You see over here in these scenarios, I get 5 hours in this one, 10 hours in this one, 15 hours in this one, and then the last one you can make your own. So the weekly overtime pay, well, I don't get overtime. Just going to put a 0 in there. Yearly pay with overtime. Well, I'm just going to say equals, and then click on this cell. Bloop. So that's my pay. 31,000. You can see it, put it down here. Yearly take home. However, taxes. All right. We need to look at the assignment to figure out how much taxes do we pay for federal, state, and Social Security. These are the three main types of taxes. So back to here, and this is what I'm looking at. 5% federal, 3% state tax, and 7.5% FICA, which is known as Social Security tax. So let's focus on the 5% here. 5%. So I essentially, this $31,200, I have to find 5% of it. So to do that, we can have the spreadsheet calculated by equals this cell times 5%. We're getting kind of mathy here. 5% as a decimal is 0.05. We'll find 5% and then hit enter. So I will have to pay the government $1,560 a year. What about state tax? I forgot my percentage already, so let's look back here. 3% state tax. Same idea. So equals, I have to pay 3% of this number up here. So click on that cell, times 0.03, and hit enter. $936 a year. Oh, it wants to do autofill again. I'm not going to do that. Social Security, that's the FICA. That's 7.5%. So equals, click on the cell. This one's a little bit tricky. 7.5% is 0.075. That is 7.5% as a decimal. Oop. Okay, so I have to pay all those taxes. Now, maybe you were noticing this was updating as I went. So this is my yearly take home. After I pay my taxes, I'm left with $26,364. Let me show you how this was calculated here. I'm just going to start over. And you're going to have to do this on your own. I'm going to reprogram it for you guys. So I'm going to hit equals, and I essentially want to take this grand total and subtract off these taxes. So I'm just going to click, here's my income, and then I'm going to hit minus, and then click on these three one at a time. Minus this cell, C13, minus the 936, this cell, C14, minus 2340, click on that cell. So I'm taking my income, the orange one, and subtracting off these three, and then it will do the math for me. Okay? I'm gonna change my mind here on what this video is going to be for. We're just going to do all the income first, okay? Figure out the grand total of income. So let me help you through the shared apartment. So I'm going to say this is also going to be here. This one, the $20 an hour is what I mean. So let's go through it again for $20 an hour. So daily, you would have equals, can I click on that cell? Yeah, D3 times 8. Ooh, we'll put a $sign on it. I guess I could back up here and I could do that too. Click on the 15 and then times 8. Oh, everything changed to dollars. I like that. All right, then equals weekly, this times 5 for the whole year equals $800 a week times 52 weeks. So look at that. Between these two scenarios, I'm making about $10,000 more. Now, overtime wage. We have overtime now. Let me go back to the scenarios. You are guaranteed 5 hours of overtime every week, and overtime is at time and a half, meaning you get, say you make $10 an hour, you will get 10 plus half of 10. So 10 plus 5, you would get $15 an hour in that scenario. If you get $20 an hour, your overtime would be 20 plus half of 20, which is 30. How do we calculate that? For $20 an hour, if you don't know how to do it, you could just say 20 times 1.5 times 1.5. So overtime is $30 an hour. You get 5 hours of that every week if you want to do it. Your weekly overtime pay, so that's your overtime wage of $30 an hour times your overtime hours of 5. So it would be equal to this cell times this cell, 30 times 5. So every week you can make $150. I'm going to skip the autofill again. $150 of overtime. All right, so yearly pay with overtime. Back on the first column, I had no overtime, so this cell and this cell were the same. Now I have overtime, so I need to add in my overtime. So I'm going to say equals this plus, and you might be thinking all I got to do is click on that. Not quite. This 150 is how much you make overtime every week. So there are 52 weeks in a year. So multiply the 150 times 52. This will give you your grand total. Well, look at that. Now it's an even bigger difference. With overtime, you went from 41,600 per year to 49,400 per year. Pretty big difference having that overtime. Okay. Now let's do the taxes. We make more money, so we pay more money in taxes. Go back to the sheet, the directions to find out how much those are. So we have 7%, 4%, and 7.5%. Social Security, I know this. This is always the same, no matter how much money you make. 7.5 here, 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 and on the bottom. All right, so 7% is the first one. So equals this cell times 0.07, 7%. So yes, I'm making more money, but I'm also paying more in taxes. The next one I believe was 4%. So click times 0.04. Oh, it keeps wanting to autofill. No. And the last one is 7.5%. So your grand total of 49,400 times, this is the tricky one, 0.075. Okay. And let me do this again from scratch because you're going to have to do it from scratch. Your take-home pay at the end of the year will be this cell, click, minus these three, click, minus, click, minus, click. And it highlights them so you can make sure you're getting them all. And there we have it. So your pay goes up from $15 an hour to $20 an hour. And here's what happens on the year. You go from 26,000 roughly to 40,000 roughly. All right, this video will stop there, and then you can work on filling in these over here, and you get to kind of make up your dream job. You can change this number to anything you want, $100 an hour, $150 an hour, and have a little fun with this column. Okay? That's it for today.